The Porsche GT3 finally runs. But there's still a long way to go, and not to mention, it still overheats when we run it.
Yeah, it's getting a little hot.
So before we can drive it actually properly, we've got to solve them first. This was a bad day for Adam LZ.
Car appears to be totaled.
But this was a great day for me. Wasn't it? They say to move forward in life, you've got to take risks, right? And what's riskier than buying a wrecked car 4,000 miles away from home, which only few get to own?
Invitation only.
In the past videos, we've tackled bodywork, suspension and structural damage. Yeah. Then came so close to getting the car running and driving properly, until we were stumped. So here's the issue with it. When we run the car and you rev it or you drive it, it stays at the right temperature, but as soon as you let it idle, it starts to overheat. The Porsche radiators are at the front of the car, but the engine and the coolant top up is at the back. So when topping up the coolant, it leaves a lot of room for air. If there's an air bubble in the system and we want to get the air to there, you're squeezing this bottle, that air is gonna go nowhere. But if I undo the cap and then squeeze it, it will then go. So you see what I'm getting at? So instead of vacuum filling the coolant system again, I want to run the engine with the coolant cap off. So I think this might push the bubbles out. But now the engine hatch won't open.
Okay, so lever.
We've had it open before, but for some reason now it won't open. So I scanned the codes for it, and there was no codes relating to the engine flap. The only other option I could think of is last time we opened it, we had the door connected to the car. So back on goes the driver's side door, then we're gonna see if it opens after that. Could it be because the door's off, you can't open the engine hatch? But what sense does that make? I don't know, but Porsche. There's two connectors for the door, and once both of them were connected, we gave it a try.
Light just went off.
What, just lit up?
It lit up and then went on. Yeah.
What sense does that make? How does that make any sense? So, everyone watching has got a 992 GT3. You cannot open the engine hatch if you take your door off. Do with that information as you wish. Now the engine hatch is open, we can top up the rest of the coolant. No, I think it will just go like burp. Then we can run the car up to temperature with the coolant cap off, of course. And hopefully we'll see it push out some air bubbles. And sure enough, we did. I think by revving the car, we was pushing the coolant through the system and forcing any air bubbles back out through the expansion tank. And then the temperature started to settle. We're at 192 Fahrenheit. Oh, I think my theory's worked. We're at 192 and we're stuck on 192. We're 190, it's gone down. It's gone down. It's gone down. One issue solved. But as we was running out of time in the US, we needed to get all the body panels back on the car to get it ready for paint, including the front wings, both of the doors, and of course the bonnet. But there was still more problems. The new wing slash fender is on. We are still missing quite a lot of bits, so we are going to have to fly back to the UK. And now remember, the horn, it wasn't working, and neither were any of these buttons here. And a few of you guys mentioned in the comment that this metal plate inside the steering wheel there, which grounds out the horn when you push it down, could be bent. And when we had it out, it did actually look bent. So thanks so much for all of you guys for commenting and helping that. We've tried to manipulate it back, but if that don't work, we could either be looking at a potential fuse or worst case, a clock spring. Back when we was taking the original broken airbag off, the wiring loom which connects to the airbag had actually melted to it. So I had to order a new loom from Porsche. I installed that along with the airbag. But then the horn didn't work. Yeah. My dad checked the fuses, which all seemed good. So our next step was the clock spring. This allows the power to be sent to the steering wheel from the steering column while still allowing the steering wheel to be turned round in a circle. But again, that seemed good. So we put back on the old wiring loom to see if that made a difference. The horn's working, so it could be a faulty loom. The new loom that we got, it could be faulty, or it wasn't just plugged in properly. And after looking closely at the old loom and the new one, we found a difference. The connectors have completely different part numbers, and I got it from Porsche. So the old one has a 992 part number, starts with 992, and the new one starts with a 9GT. It's just two completely different part numbers. That possibly could be the reason why they don't work. So one's got to go back. But as I mentioned, time was running out and there was still a lot of bodywork to do. And the body shop wanted all the body panels roughly bolted on so they can prep the car for paint. So this is going to be the first time seeing the bonnet back on the car since the accident. And it didn't disappoint. Look at that. Yes. Decent. Next stop, I think Jack's got to prep this. Go on, Jack. We flew back to the UK to get more parts. And whilst we was away, Jack prepped the car ready for paint, which meant stripping the passenger side door down and taking off all the paint protection film that was on the car, because the whole front end is going to need painting. He then did some more body work on the side skirt which needed doing and got it looking as good as new. He then had to sand down all the panels which were going to be painted. The car looks crazy like this. And then with the coat of, I think it was primer, on the side skirt that he repaired.
All taped up, getting ready to go in the booth.
Now we have to do a huge shout out for Jack for doing this whilst we was away. So please go and check his channel out with the link in the description.
We have the car fully prepped up. Lewis has got the rest of the car to tape. Stoked. Yeah! Ah. All right, let's get this thing done.
Now it was up to Lewis to match that paint to sample ultraviolet Porsche colour, and he did not disappoint. I don't know too much about painting, but from what I'm seeing, he's doing a pretty good job.
Okay, Matt, bodywork's done. Your turn.
So this is the last 2 boxes filled with Porsche parts going from the UK to America, and this should be all the parts that we need, and hopefully they make it for the 3rd time round. This should be the 3rd and final trip to the US. We're good to go. But something strange happened when I boarded the flight. This is your captain speaking, the passenger on board Matt Armstrong. Just to let you know, even though your GT3 is a clean title, I can tell it's been in an accident because I checked it out using Car Vertical. And the pilot was right. With Car Vertical's new look and new layout, anyone can check a car out using it. Even my dog. What? Here's the report for the GT3. Green lights mean good, and amber lights need my attention. I can see the mileage records of the car. I can see the car's spec, whether it's got outstanding finance. And right here, I can see that it's been in an accident, even though it's clean title. And if the car you're checking out was auctioned off at a car crash auction place, it's likely that they'll show you the photos of when it was there. So go and check your car or a car you're potentially about to buy by clicking the link in the description box below and use code MATT for discount. Let's get to Florida. We've made it to Florida for the 3rd time. Welcome back. Let's get the GT3 done.
Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning.
How good does the car look? All painted. They've done an amazing job at the body shop, but all of this isn't really bolted in properly yet. We've got a lot to do, a lot to line up. And also, if you're wondering why all the wing and everything off the back is off, there was some damage to the rear bumper, which was caused by the forklift. So we've had that repaired. But look at the forged carbon that it's like exposed at the back. It looks mental. Obviously all the engine and everything's at the back of the car. Look at the, look, it's got like some mad cone filters in there. Let's get it inside.
She had not been 2 weeks from shore and down on her arrival.
Progress was made, but something was worrying my dad as we pulled it back into the unit.
Why is the fan on?
I guess we'll have to find out later, because even though most of the car is all painted, we wanted to paint one more thing. Of course, the alloy wheels. But this was easier said than done. Getting these wheels off with just a breaker bar was incredibly hard. Now we had the wheels loosened, we can jack the car up, take them off, and send them off for powder coating. So some of the many parts that I've brought this time from the UK is a wiring loom, which was at fault last time. I ordered one from Silverstone Porsche in the UK, and the thing is, it's the same part number as the one US Porsche gave us. So if this works, the US Porsche one was faulty, but if it doesn't work, it must be a wrong part number. So we're unsure whether this is going to work or not. This is the one that works, although the airbag bits melted to the airbag, so we can't use this unless, worst case scenario, we'll have to chop off the wires from this, but I don't really want to do that. I began to fit the new wiring loom that we got from Silverstone Porsche, in hopes this one would work. Please work. But straight away, I could see that the steering wheel buttons didn't light up when the ignition was turned on. There's no power going to it. I don't know whether it's got something to do with these things. It's weird that two Porsche dealerships sell you the same thing and both of them don't work. I think we've got to cut this loom and put it on that one.
No.
That's it. That's the only way we've got to do it.
Dad won't let you do that.
Well, my dad had no choice, because when we looked at the looms closer, we found out the wires were leading in completely different locations. So we had to strip the airbag plugs off the good loom and then use this connector, which when you heat up, it melts solder inside of it to connect it to the bad loom. And as long as this was done right, I couldn't see any issue with it. But then I had a thought on why the new loom didn't work. Do you know what? I know what it is. This is a manual. This is a manual car, yeah, and a PDK would have flappy paddles at the back. Those extra things are going to be for the flappy paddles at the back. That's what's going to be, and that loom is going to be for a PDK, because everyone has a PDK and no one has a manual. That's my theory.
Good theory.
I think it was a good theory, and it explains the 2 extra wires that we got with the loom, which led to nowhere. But now we've got to find out whether our fix worked. Right. Come on. Please work.
This is like deja vu.
Oh.
We've been here before.
Oh, wait. I know what's wrong. I know what the issue is. Look. There you go. Okay, we can fix that. Hey! Ready? Yay! Yes! Okay, we're fixed. Now we just got to plug the airbag into it. Boom. The buttons work! And that looks look, that's proper solid. Remember last time? Last time that was all wobbly, wasn't it? That's solid as a rock. And hi guys! Finally, the horn and the steering wheel buttons were fixed. Time to rebuild up the rest of the car. Starting with the rear quarter window, which just bolts in. Then, moving on to the passenger side seatbelt. If this seatbelt isn't located properly, then it will stay completely locked out. So we have to make sure it's in the right location. And once that seatbelt is in, we can start to refit all the interior trim. And as we found out, it only goes in one way, and you have to put it in order, starting with the rear quarter trims and working your way back. And this is a pretty sweaty job when there's 2 of you in such a small space. Final bit of trim now to go on the back, which is a piece of carpet, and the GT3 interior is finally coming together. the roll cage, which actually doesn't come on American cars, and this one Adam LZ had made, and it's got his logo in there. I want to keep it. I think it looks proper cool. But I was thinking of getting this powder coated the same colour as I've gone for the wheels. But let me know at the end of the video whether I should have done that. But for now, we're going back in purple on purple. Let's get it in. This thing is heavy. Oh God. This was one of the first things that we removed when we first started work on the car. And now bolting it back in to the OEM points in the Porsche feels amazing. It feels like we've made such good progress. One step closer to finishing this car. The last bit of the interior. We found out how much these carbon bucket seats cost from Porsche, and it was $33,000. So the last thing we want to do is damage them as we're putting them back in for the final time. The seat belts bolt to the seat, which Freddie helped us out on, and me and my dad couldn't resist testing the seats and the seat belts out before finally bolting in the last 4 bolts to hold them all in. Next thing, what we should do now is we'll plug in the diagnostic tool. There's going to be a bunch of faults with the car anyway because half of it isn't put together, but we just want to see whether there's a fault with that airbag, and if there's no fault with the airbag, the loom is all good and working. We need closure. And these are the fault codes that appeared. Crash sensor in lock carrier, front driver's side, open circuit. We've not connected that. Crash sensor in lock carrier, front passenger side, open circuit. I don't think that's connected. And multiple collision brake, no function. So none for the steering wheel airbag.
Is that the bit that are fixed?
Looking good, looking good. The interior is now pretty much complete. And now we can finish off the exterior. And I think it's a pretty good time to show you guys the new colour of the wheels. I'm not sure. Take a look. I think it might look good. Let me know what you think in the comment section below with the wheel colour. I think it's contrasting nicely. You can definitely see the wheels a lot more, but it's going to be really hard to tell until we actually fit them to the car and lower it all down. But let me know in the comment section. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to do this in this video, but stay tuned for the next one. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
See? I'm not just a videographer.
No, you're a beep. I think Porsche will give you a free one of these.
Yeah, for the amount of stress, anxiety,
I'm sure
alarm and distress that it's caused us.
Like a drug that I just can't deny, giving me the best high.